Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Disney's Star Wars failure is complete. Disney is taking a write-off, a write-down for the Galactic Starcruiser per Bob Iger, per the Q3 earnings call. I felt that warranted its own video because, man, this thing came and went pretty damn quick.
Well, they're saying the hotel could cost the company as much as $1 billion, but didn't it cost that much to build the hotel?
Was it the hotel, or were they rolling that into Galaxy's Edge? Because I heard
Galaxy. I can't again that the hotel cost that much.
I heard Galaxy's Edge was $1 billion split between both coasts.
Maybe.
But I don't know, because I mean they're building what? They're building Epic Universe for like $4 or $5 billion.
Something like that. It's a whole park, a whole new theme park. But I think it's funny because it costs as much as $1 billion. So let's say it didn't. Let's say it cost $500,000 or $500 million. $500 million. Say it cost $500 million. Then they lost $1 billion. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of money to lose.
Yeah. So I'm wondering.
Could have given it to me, and I could have said, "Don't do it. Bad idea."
Oh my God! If they had just done what they had planned to do, which for those of you who don't know, this is the story. This is the official story. People that worked at Disney World have confirmed it. Imagineering has confirmed it. They were going to theme Galaxy's Edge to the original trilogy. It was going to be Endor and Tatooine and possibly something else, right? And because The Force Awakens did pretty okay, they decided to switch gears and make it all sequel trilogy. That was a huge mistake. That was a massive mistake.
It was Iger who decided. He looked at the dailies and said, "Hey, we're going to make it all ours.
This is going to be ours," right? So
plus, it's also a mistake when you have to try to tell people come into this new place that exists nowhere in any Star Wars lore previously, and imagine it all in your head and make it up.
Yeah,
you have to work for it.
They wanted people to come in and LARP, and it's funny because actually the Guardian was like, well, at least we have video games. We can still pretend to be our OCs in the video games. Guys.
Well, because the audience they're pandering to is not the audience that was going to spend the amount they're asking. They were asking way too much money.
Yes.
It even could have worked if the cost was a fraction of what they charged.
Yes. I still think it would work or could work if they went back to original trilogy and did it as like a dinner theater thing or like a one-day excursion, half-day thing. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. They're taking a write-off, which tells me they're not going to do anything with this hotel anytime soon. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants, guys. If you do, you'll get a woohoo.
Woohoo.
Gosh, it's almost like we told you so.
We've been saying it since they announced it that it was probably a bad idea.
We said this thing is going to be a future episode of Defunct Land before they even opened it. And I guarantee you that, well, actually the day they shut it down, Defunct Land was trending on Twitter.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. So I guarantee you he's already got footage. He's already got it fired up. He's already got the script. So now the coda is...
We're cheering you on.
Yeah, we're going to cheer you on, dude. I want to watch that one. So now the coda to this whole thing, and God, this guy's face. You're way too... What the hell? The coda to this whole thing is they're just going to take it as a write-off, right? This is coming from the Wrap. Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser write-downs partially blamed for Disney park woes. So the parks didn't do... The revenue was good, but not great, I guess, but better than other parts of the company.
Well, as much as they charge, and you have to remember too, if they're going by it's doing great, we're fully booked. That's because when you had your bookings were wide open until you announced your closing, and then everybody filled those bookings up because anybody who wanted to go had to go now or never get to go again, and then you fill it up and you're booked, and that money counted towards this quarter. Yeah,
they said domestic park attendance grew slightly year over year, and operating income for the segment was 30% higher. Operating income. 30% higher compared to 2019, said the CFO, Kevin Lansbury.
He's the interim CFO.
The interim. Yeah, the elevated travel costs were affecting international visitors.
That's true, though.
They said that everybody burnt off their pent-up demand.
Yeah, they did a while ago.
Come to Disney once, you can't come again for a long time.
Because it costs too much money.
Yeah, that too. Referring to anticipated cost pressures in the fourth quarter, Lansbury said increased labor wages and $150 million of remaining accelerated depreciation for the Galactic Starcruiser.
Right, it's going to depreciate, yeah.
They said we're still expecting full-year total company revenue and segment operating income to grow at a high single-digit percentage rate versus the prior year. I love this, though. This is coming from the Wrap. Even without the spectacular failure Spectacular failure of the Starcruiser.
Which, again, was Bob Iger.
Which was Bob Iger. It would not have failed if you had done it right. Attendance at Walt Disney World has been low.
Yes, people have been mentioning it. They are extending deals and packages through the holiday season, which we've been telling you.
Yeah. Disney touted Genie Plus, which is supposed to help visitors get on more rides for an additional price, as offsetting the attendance dip. It probably is offsetting the attendance. People are probably like, wait, I got to pay $125 to $150 to get in the gate.
Sometimes it's even $200. Depends, yeah.
And I can't actually ride anything unless I pay more.
Right.
Is that, is that what you're telling me?
You can totally ride stuff if you know what you're doing, but you're not going to be able to ride as much as if you had the Genie Plus, because then you can, you know, well, it's even more so if you do the pay the front of the line access.
I love this last paragraph. The Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser was a significant misstep for Disney. It went from being something that the company was endlessly proud of to something that has to live down. As the Wrap reported, costs associated with the hotel and related experiences could have cost the company as much as $1 billion. Getting it off the books as quickly and quietly as possible is a top priority. We didn't even get Life Day. What a missed opportunity.
Is it though? I mean, is it?
I mean, this was like the saddest shit show, LARPing shit show. Like, I don't know what happened here. Like, I want to know. This is why I want that Defunct Land episode, because I want him to go dig into this and be like, who didn't stop this from happening?
Well, I remember too, like when it launched, that I had commented, I made some comments about how ridiculously expensive it was and how it didn't look very good and the rooms looked small. And one of the cast members from the Galactic Starcruiser on Instagram tried to learn me. So
I remember that.
Didn't help you either. You know, if your cast members are like, you know, I get you're working hard, I understand it, but it doesn't solve the problem that you're too fucking expensive and it's really stupid. And you're jiggling rocks in an atrium and saying, "Oh look, we're off world. And you're using the Force here for $4,500 or $4,800 to $6,000."
Yeah, and you're also playing mobile apps. You can do that, or you can go to the dinner show with two LARPers, two cosplayers. Mm-hmm. You know, like
I'm saying that the cast members didn't work hard. That
is not what we're saying. But look, the
concept was dumb.
When they pitched us this thing, this is the thing: the original version of Galaxy's Edge, okay, was supposed to have freaking ridiculous immersion. It was supposed to be like walking onto the set of a Star Wars movie, and it is hardly that. It is like 10% of what they promised. There were supposed to be aliens all over the place, droids all over the place.
They paywalled it with this hotel.
But even that, they half-assed it.
Yeah, they did. I mean, it's really like you jiggle rocks and that's using the Force. I'm like, and then you get to go, you know, front of line for the Rise of the Resistance ride if it's running. You know, there's just so much wrong with this whole thing. And then you can, and then how much money they spend on tie-ins? Like, they had the comic books and books they were writing to tie, like Han and Leia had their honeymoon there, and all this other shit. They were trying to tie into the Galactic Starcruiser.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, how much did I spend on that too?
They had like a didn't they have a VR thing too? They're doing, and
that was Galaxy's Edge, wasn't it? Yeah, that was Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, and it's like, look, Galaxy's Edge and look, if I were
the Falcon's cool though.
The Falcon is cool, and the Falcon you can tell
the ride sucks.
Is a remnant of what Galaxy's Edge was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Docking Bay 94. You
could tell that's what it was supposed to be.
I mean, could you imagine this if this was like Jabba's palace and you had an animatronic Jabba the Hutt?
Oh, that
and the Max Rebo band, and you know, and it was like walking into
went all Chuck E. Cheese on it, but in a cool way.
It would be like really badass Chuck E. Cheese, right? But could you imagine if they did that and you were walking into like something like that instead of this really sterile, generic sci-fi looking hotel? That would have been amazing.
Hear me out, okay? So they get old Small World animatronics and they put them in there and they're half broken and everything else, and it can be one night at Mickey's and you have to escape or survive the night.
Your credit card has to survive the night.
There you go. They can make some money. No, it's just the whole thing was really poorly planned. Everything that people they promised for free, they put behind a paywall. They made the paywall too high. They made the offerings too stupid, and people were like, no.
Yeah. it just, people were like, no. I mean, everybody, like, even, this wasn't even a political thing, you know, because they try to make Star Wars a political thing. This was not a political thing. You had people on both sides of the aisle being like, you're charging like $6,000 for 2 nights at a freaking bad LARPing dinner theater, Ren Fair, sci-fi Ren Fair. That's basically what it is.
Events they had to do, they were stupid.
It's nothing.
They're like, you know, you're watching this screen, you're watching that screen, you're playing on your data pad, your iPad.
Right.
You're playing, it's probably a cheap version, and you're playing on this, they're playing these games. And then, you know, you can go spend money if you want to spend money on stuff.
I mean, if they really wanted to go there and they wanted the big bucks, you want to make it like a really exclusive, you could have, you know, betting, because Disney's doing that now. At ESPN, you can bet. You could have like bet on the pod races.
Yeah, but see, if you did that though, that you wouldn't work, because people would be like, well, how do I know you didn't cheat the pod races to see how much money people bet? Because it's not like a real thing.
Well, you get some people, it could be like Quidditch, where you get some people like dress up in like a little pod race, like inflatable pod race thing, and they just kind of gallop around, because they would do that and save money.
They make a big window at the hotel, and you're overlooking the arena, and it's just like a big dirt pit. People are running around. It's like when you put people, you want to transport you from the Galactic Starcruiser to Galaxy's Edge, and we'll do it in a box truck.
Oh my God! It was like, yeah, it's like this is human trafficking. Okay, that's what you're doing. You're paying to be trafficked to the LARPing hotel, right? A windowless box truck. You know, but then I think they had like droid racing or some shit like that. Like the droids that you build in the droid factory, they just brought some over. Yeah, those other
activities. You can pay for the droids that or no, they had some on hand too. And that you could race them around the floor in certain areas.
So that reminds me of like the really lame filler activities they do at like Epcot in Hollywood, where it's like, hey kids, if you're waiting for your parents to get off rock roller coaster, here's a coloring page of Aerosmith or something. And blow some bubbles while you're waiting.
Yeah, separate those. Make sure you're not blowing Aerosmith.
Well, that got them in trouble, and that's why they're saying they're not going to have them on the ride for much longer. But there we go, guys. This is one of Disney's biggest failures.
Shocker. Who would have ever guessed?
So easily avoidable. That's what kills me about this whole thing. Galaxy's Edge, the Starcruiser, all of this could have been a slam dunk.
Or they could have taken that money and put it into that hotel they canceled where Old River Country is going to be.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They could have done that. They could have
fixed the rides they have.
Yeah, I was going to say, they could have used it to fix the rides they had. They could have used it to add on to something like Galaxy's Edge. You maybe add on some area that, you know, offered more what they had promised and didn't do. They could have done so many things.
So now I got to wonder, just tinfoil mouse ears before we wrap this up. Was this designed to fail?
I don't think so, because it gave him a really big black eye.
I know, because I'm like,
I don't think they deliberately failed on this.
Because they're like, you know, we could fix it, but you know what? Let's just let it fucking fail. Let's let it fail and then take the write-off.
In that regard, do I think they let it fail? Like, it could have done something to fix it, and they chose not to because they didn't want to, you know, drop the price and stuff. Yeah. Yes. I think they deliberately just let it go on the ground so they could write it off. But I don't think they intended for it to fail. I think they were genuinely surprised that people thought this was too fucking ridiculous and too fucking stupid to pay for it. And this is coming from a lifelong Star Wars fan who loves, well, I love classic Star Wars, not their Star Wars, but I'm just saying, a lot of people are lifelong Star Wars fans, and they're just like, that's too expensive. Yeah. And I'm not paying $6,000 to pretend I'm jiggling rocks and...
Commence the jiggling.
I remember when you saw the picture of the you're like, the atrium, you're like, that's Florida.
It's Florida.
It's Florida.
They're like, oh, we have a simulation of the outdoors. I'm like, yes, it's called Florida.
You know,
what if a bird took a shit on the rocks?
Or they probably fly over your head, but that's just the screens, guys. Thank goodness they don't have windows in the ground when the gators walk by. Oh no, it's just a simulation.
That's not a robin. That's a space bird.
That's not a puffin. That's a porg. You know?
That's a porg, guys. Actually, if they had like porg roasting, like that, because you know they do s'mores and stuff at the hotel. Like you could go get like a little, you know, you can get a Cornish hen and say, hey, you roast a freaking porg. Put some little googly eyes on it. And put it on the spit and you see the little googly eyes. That would be fantastic.
They just melt right off. So
I would pay for that. I would pay to roast a porg.
Let me wrap this up.
Yeah, what does it taste like? Chicken? Because it's literally just chicken. All right, we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Help support the channel. Go to thereef.support and get early access to podcasts, videos, and other content. That's thereef.support.